10 steps ahead. TGBU talk, yeah, yeah. TGBU talk, yeah, yeah. TGBU talk, yeah, yeah. TGBU talk, yeah, yeah.
All right, so today we are diving into something pretty interesting. Someone sent us basically a collection of inside jokes.
Yeah.
About this friend group. They call themselves TGBU.
It's like they gave us their meme account, but with like real context.
Yeah, and like actual relationships and history.
Yeah.
So just to like get everyone on the same page, we've got these fun facts about these 6 friends: Abood, Hadi, Manny, Naim, Azrin, and Ollie. And
even being a member is like a whole thing.
Oh yeah, especially with Ollie.
Right.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But the thing is, this isn't like, you know, reading a biography or anything. This is like, we're really trying to figure out like what makes this group tick.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that like 3 of these guys, Abood, Hadi, and Manny, have known each other since grade school.
Oh, wow.
Like that is a long time.
Yeah, that's like childhood friends.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this group of friends. They've known each other since they were kids, right?
Right.
This shared history, this unique dynamic.
Yeah.
But then you add in the music.
And that's when things get really fascinating.
Things get really interesting.
Because the way they approach making music, it's almost unheard of.
Right.
According to the sources here, a huge chunk of their projects, like 90%, were basically built in these 24-hour bursts of energy.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
24 hours to create a track.
I know. It's wild.
It's insane.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. We're not just talking about like brainstorming lyrics. We're talking composing the music, producing it, recording the whole thing all within a single day.
So like 10 steps ahead, which is one of my favorite TGBU tracks.
Yeah.
Are we saying they pulled an all-nighter and that song just appeared?
Well, not entirely.
Okay.
But what we do know is that the initial beat for 10 Steps Ahead was actually created in an afternoon at Hadi's place.
Wow.
And get this, Azrin started writing his verse on the way home from that session, finished it on a plane to Malaysia.
Wow, imagine having that kind of creative energy.
Right.
Makes you wonder if there's something in the air over there. But seriously, though, what can we learn from this 24-hour creative explosion?
Well, it makes you question these traditional ideas about creative processes.
Yeah.
It's not always about meticulous planning. Sometimes it's about capturing that energy, that spark,
right,
when it hits you.
And it makes you think about all those moments, those inside jokes, because when they're working like that, the creativity is flowing, but so is the humor.
It's so interesting to see how those early friendships really influence the group dynamic.
Right.
It's like having a built-in support system right there. A group of people who've known you for years. They get your humor. They've seen you grow.
And speaking of humor,
oh yeah,
some of these anecdotes about their first impressions are priceless.
Right.
Like Naim's first encounter with Azrin.
Oh yeah.
Who walks up to someone and says, "Dude, why is your face so square?"
It's hilarious, but it speaks to a level of comfort, even playfulness that's endearing, and the fact that it became a running joke.
Oh, for sure.
That tells you so much about Azrin's personality, just rolling with it.
And this is just the beginning. So now you've got like the core 4, Abood, Hadi, Naim, and Azrin.
Right.
And then there's Manny, who's been there since the beginning.
Right.
And then there's Ollie.
And then there's Ollie, who's a whole other story.
But before we get there, we really got to talk about some of these like fun facts.
Yeah.
Because some of them are like straight up mysteries. Okay, so first of all, we have to talk about Abood's swimming regret. Because what could be so bad that he won't even talk about it?
It's like their version of the Bermuda Triangle. Something went down and we may never know.
Right. And the fact that it's like become this legendary story makes you wonder, like, are they being serious or is it just a joke?
Yeah, it makes you wonder how they walk that line between, you know, giving each other a hard time and being sensitive, because what if something actually happened to him?
And they don't want to bring it up because it's like, you know, a little too real.
Exactly. Especially since they've known each other for so long, like some things you just don't joke about.
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of another mystery, the name TGBU. Like, what does it even stand for?
It's like their own secret code, something only they know.
Yeah. And the fact that they've kept it a secret for this long tells you how important it is to them.
Yeah, it's like a badge of honor for them.
Right. Okay, so while we're all coming up with theories about TGBU...
And I'm sure the listeners have some good ones.
Oh, I bet they do. But while we're doing that, can we talk about this Abood's infamous name reveal thing? Because this is another good one. Apparently, he shared a girl's name with the group, and he's been living it down ever since. But Azrin just, like, doesn't care.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, why is Azrin so unfazed?
Maybe he's just used to Abood's antics by now.
Or maybe he's just really good at playing it cool even when everyone else is freaking out.
Yeah, like after all these years together, nothing phases him.
Exactly. They've reached that level of friendship where some things are just understood.
It makes you wonder, what else don't we know about them?
Right. Like how much of this is just for show and how much of it is like actually them?
Yeah, good question. Okay, so speaking of the other guys, can we talk about Naim for a sec? This whole near perfect memory thing. Like, is he the keeper of all their secrets?
He's like their own personal Wikipedia.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he remembers every detail of every story.
Yeah. Every embarrassing moment, every inside joke, it's all up there.
Can you imagine the power if someone started arguing about what happened like 5 years ago? Naim just steps in and is like, actually, this is what happened.
He's like the official historian of TGBU, making sure the legend lives on.
Speaking of legends, we can't forget about Manny and his so-called unmatched pheromones.
Oh, yeah. They make it sound like he's some kind of lady killer.
Right. Like he's just walking around with a trail of broken hearts.
It's obviously a joke, but it does make you wonder how those roles develop in a friend group. Like, who's the funny one? Who's the smart one? Who's the, like, you know, heartthrob?
Oh, totally. It's like they each have their own part to play.
Right. And maybe those roles change over time, but it's still interesting to think about.
Okay, so we've talked about everyone except for like the most mysterious member of the group.
Ah, yes. Ali, the wild card.
Seriously. Every time we think we figured him out, he does something else that's like, wait, what?
Like those chat banishments? What's that all about?
I know, right? Like they're always kicking him out of the group chat.
And then making him go through this whole application process to get back in.
Like a weird game they play with him.
But like if they didn't actually like him, why would they even bother? You know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like their way of showing affection, but in a really roundabout way.
Yeah, like we're going to make you work for it, but at the end of the day, you're one of us.
It's like his own unique path to becoming a member of TGBU.
Which, knowing these guys, is probably more meaningful than just being like, hey, welcome to the group.
Right, exactly. It's all part of their story.
It's all part of their dynamic, but what I find really interesting is that even with all these inside jokes, with the name TGBU itself being this constantly evolving mystery.
You mean how no one seems to know what it stands for anymore?
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd uncover that big secret today.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not about a fixed definition, but about the ever-changing nature of their friendship, their journey.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But still, the curiosity remains. It's like they're giving us this glimpse into their world,
Right.
but leaving us wanting more.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so compelling, right?
Right.
We've seen their childhood photos, we've heard the hilarious stories, we've decoded the nicknames,
Yeah.
but the true essence of TGBU,
Yeah.
the meaning behind them, it remains elusive.
It's like we've opened a few layers of the puzzle box, but there's still so much more to uncover. And that brings us to the big question. What can we really take away from all this?
Right, because it's easy to hear these stories and think, oh, that's cool, they're a close group.
Yeah.
But there's a deeper layer here.
Yeah.
What does their story tell us about friendship, about creativity, about the power of shared experiences?
Those are some big questions, but luckily we've got some thoughts on that. And we'll be right back after the break to unpack it all. Back again, still unpacking the TGBU story.
What a journey.
So many layers, huh? It's like we've laughed, we've thought hard, we've almost figured out this whole TGBU thing.
Almost.
But even without knowing exactly what it means, I feel like we found something way more important.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm listening. What's more important than knowing what the acronym stands for?
Well, think about all these little moments, those day one stories that Naim and Azrin are always going on about. It's not just random stuff. It's actually the foundation of something much bigger.
You're right. Their love of football, that square face comment. It's like all these small things built their connection.
Exactly. And that connection, that shared history, it powers their creativity in this almost magical way.
Like a Bood's dream leading to Twin Minutes, or Azrin writing a verse on the fly. They're not just talented, they're so in sync. It's like they can read each other's minds.
It's a powerful lesson for everyone, really. It doesn't matter if you're a musician or an artist or just trying to build relationships. Those little moments matter.
Yeah, they might seem random, even meaningless at the time, but years later they become the memories you laugh about, the stories you tell, the glue that holds you together.
And for TGBU, we've seen how those bonds lead to incredible things. They spark their creativity, drive their ambition, create this sense of belonging that's going to last.
So as we wrap up, I think the takeaway is pretty clear.
Cherish those day one moments.
The inside jokes, the things you're passionate about, even the little things that make your connection special.
You never know, those moments could be the start of something amazing.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. See you next time. And until then, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep those day one memories close.
Yeah, you heard what we said. You know we the best. You know what the deal is, cause we 10 steps ahead. TGBU talk. Yeah. Yeah.